Fireworks mark the end of what has been a challenging Olympic Games. The COVID-19 pandemic has meant no fans inside stadiums or other venues, and strict health conditions for athletes to stop any potential spread of the virus. Despite these measures, there were more than 400 infections related to the Games.
But I think we can already now say with confidence that we have experienced a very successful Olympic Games. Considering all the uncertainties we had over the last 2 years, whether these Olympic Games, whether we could make them happen at all.
But they weren't without controversy. One of the Games' biggest stars, US gymnast Simone Biles, pulled out of several events citing her mental health. She returned to win a bronze medal.
Yeah, well, to bring the topic of mental health, I think it should be talked about a lot more, especially with athletes, because I know some of us are going through the same things and we're always told to push through it, but we're all a little bit older now and we could kind of speak for ourselves. But at the end of the day, we're not just entertainment, we're humans.
There was also a podium protest by US shot putter Raven Saunders, the X symbolising what she said was the intersection where all people who are oppressed meet. The US topped the medal table with 39 golds, ahead of China, but Japan got a record medal haul, ranking third. Russia was banned from the Games for breaking anti-doping rules, but its athletes competed under the Russian Olympic Committee. They came fifth. The Olympic flag was handed over to Paris, with the hope the next Olympics in 3 years will be pandemic-free. Asad Baig, Al Jazeera.
Well, Philip Crowther is the AP correspondent in Tokyo. He says these Olympics will go down in history as the pandemic Games.
Probably a closing ceremony unlike any other as well. Very subdued, much like the opening ceremony was as well. We just had a very short fireworks display, as was to be expected from a closing ceremony that wasn't really a celebration of what had gone before. It was a little bit more reflective and was very respectful actually towards the athletes, because after all, the athletes were pretty much the only people inside of this Olympic stadium, alongside some officials and journalists, of course. The athletes who were remaining here in Tokyo, and there weren't that many because most of them had to leave Tokyo after 2 days after their competitions. Well, they got together on the field of play here in the Olympic Stadium, and they were essentially feeling the gratitude there from organizers for turning up and for performing. These Olympic Games in Tokyo will always be marked by the coronavirus pandemic. First of all, simply because we had an Olympic Games here called Tokyo 2020 taking place in the year 2021. They were postponed, of course, by a whole year, and that still didn't really do it, because not a single person, not a single spectator was allowed to enter this Olympic Stadium or any other sporting venue here in Japan. In the end, that Olympic bubble, as it is called, that group of athletes, coaches, officials and journalists who were not supposed to have any contact really with the local population, that Olympic bubble appears to have remained intact. There was no major outbreak, new outbreak I should say, of positive COVID-19 cases, though they have been going up steadily here in Tokyo. That very much the backdrop, if not the centerpiece, of these Olympic Games here in Tokyo.